Hi everyone, my name is Priya and welcome to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be doing an illustration of a leopard using the Faber-Castell Pitt Artist Pens, the black set. Now I'm going to be using the small, fine, medium and brush nibs depending on the section of the leopard that I'm going to be drawing. Now I'm starting off with an initial sketch in regular graphite pencil. This is a graphite HB pencil. All the supplies I'm using will be listed in the description box below if you're interested. And I am using a larger sketchbook. This is an A4 size sketchbook. And I'm starting off with an initial sketch of the leopard, looking at my reference photo and just getting all the proportions right and getting the placement of everything in the correct place and the shapes and the textures. I studied my reference photo really well so that I can see the areas that need to be shaded with shadows, because remember, we're looking at the leopard in its with its muscular structure as well as its skeletal structure. So all of that changes the angle of the fur. So you need to pay attention to that, especially if you're creating or want to create a drawing that's more realistic and three-dimensional. You need to pay close attention to those different things, because I'm not drawing every single spot and counting all the spots of the leopard and putting it on. I'm looking at the general idea, more or less how many spots are around this area or what direction are the spots. Remember, the spots are all not round, they're not perfect circles, they are all different shapes. They look spotty, but they're all different shapes, different angles depending on the direction of the fur as well. Remember, each of those spots are actually fur, so it's going to have little strands of hair as well. So pay attention to that as well when you are going to be working on the piece, to put the direction of the fur and the hair for those different all the different spots. So once I have the initial sketch down and it's accurate as possible, and it's as accurate as possible and it has all the proportions correct, I start going over the entire illustration and drawing with the fine liners. Now I am using the medium size pen for this, just to get all the outlines of all the areas. And I am changing in between. I'm moving from a medium size to the small nib. I'm retaining the fine pen or the fine nib pen for using for the final or for the finest hairs that I'm going to be doing for the fur. So I'm retaining that one for that. And then obviously the brush, I'm using the brush pen for the larger areas that I need to color in or cover larger, like the areas around the eyes and the areas where the whiskers are going to come on the muzzle. All of that is and around the mouth area. So all of that I'm using the brush nib pen, because obviously I want to cover those areas quickly. But at the same time, as you can see, I'm applying the pen and using the brush pen to get those areas or spots filled in, but I'm keeping the direction of the fur. So you can see they're not perfect round or spots or different shaped spots. They've got that little jagged edges to them to depict the fur. So keep that in mind when you are doing any illustration or drawing with pens. When you are doing that, make sure to keep that unevenness of the edges of the spots. For leopards especially, even for tigers with the stripes, same thing would apply, because you need to keep that in order to show the direction of the fur, which will impact on how three-dimensional and how realistic your final drawing will be, because you'll be able to place the areas when you start putting the fur in with the finer nib pen. You'll be able to add those fur details to the piece. So you can see now, this is where I start going in with the finer nib pen. That's just to get some of those fine hairs or fine fur details. Now around the muzzle area, that hair is very short, so it's best to use a stippling motion with the pen and get these little dots to depict the fur, then to draw all of it as complete lines for fur, because that area around the hair on the nose, if you do it with a lot of lines, it's going to look very long, and the leopards usually don't have long fur on the muzzle. Above the nose, the hair is quite short, so it's better to depict it with some stippling, where you use the little dots to represent the fur. So you can see I also added a little bit of some lines and some cross hatching to the eyes, just to make the pupils look a bit more realistic and not completely white. And now you can see I'm starting to work section by section using the finest nib. This is the fine nib, and I think this one is the fine, or it's the small, I'm not sure, it's one of the two, but it's the finest point in the set that I'm using. And I'm using that just to get the fur and to get the shape of the fur and the direction of the fur. Now remember, as I'm applying the pen and basically drawing in the fur, I'm keeping the direction of the fur according to the reference photo. So really pay a close attention to your reference photo. I know I say this a lot, but that's very important, especially if you're trying to create a realistic drawing or really trying to depict the animal in a three-dimensional way. You need to pay close attention to the direction, and as the direction changes, you need to change your strokes of your pen just so that you can get it to that the way the reference photo looks, which will make it look more realistic, and it's uneven, so you don't have this complete uniformity where everything is just a standard size or length. Some of the hairs are longer, some of them are curved, some of them are in the different direction. You need to look at all of that, and also we want to get a lot of that shadow areas as well, which is why I'm overlaying some areas with more of the pen. So I guess that's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, don't forget to like and share. Feel free to comment below, and don't forget to subscribe. Till the next one, bye.